found it. Found it. I'm trying to be quieter because people like to shop quietly. So I'm gonna take a look. All right, stop number 2, which is called the Resource Thrift Shop. We have 2 of these in town, but it's just like a basic, you know, things can range from 50 cents to 10 bucks. Just all gently used stuff, sort of like a Salvation Army type deal. So we're gonna go inside, we'll take a look and see what we can find. So the thing about thrifting like this is that there's always gonna be a section that is like stationery or school stuff or crafting. Most of these places are always organized. See, this is interesting. Something as simple as buttons, right? Using buttons. These are easy tokens. A pack for 50 cents. All different varieties. See, some like buttons. That could be super useful for playtesting parts, and they're gonna be very affordable, obviously. So here's a great tip. Look for buttons for tokens. Okay, toys. Looking for toys, which I think we found actually. Jackpot. Now, the question is, what can we find that is eye-catching / worth the purchase? See, there's always the thing about these thrift stores, there's always such a variety of what you're going to find. Could be new, could be really old. It could be a murder mystery. But the point is, you're going to find a variety. You just have to decide what it is that you need and see what you can grab. See, something like this is a great example. I don't know this game, but it is $2.99. And the point is, what if you were creating like a word game and you needed word tiles or just something like that? This would be such an easy source for you to grab something that looks like that. And if I was creating a word game, that's the kind of thing I'd be looking for. So it's not necessarily that you are looking to just buy out other games. Like I said, you gotta take a look at some of these things, even if they look old, and just check and see what kind of small components they have, because sometimes those components can be changed, right? You might be able to break something apart or glue things together, and that's part of the fun too, because it is home crafting after all, designing a prototype at home. And then every so often you come across the real gems, like Senor Pepper, the speedy pepper pickle game, picker game. I'm not buying the spicy pepper picker game. So nothing there, but pretty good example of the types of things that you can find. I also did find a table. It was the size of like just a small square coffee table, but it had a permanent chessboard pattern imprinted on the top, and it was like you could flip it, and there was another square. I think it was it's that game where there's like squares within squares, and you slide the little checker pieces from corner to corner, bumping out the other player. Can't remember what it's called. My point is, that coffee table was $4.99. Like, that in itself, you could, like, aesthetically, you could have bought yourself a thrifted board game side table, or just bought it and turned it into something else. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, now we're gonna actually run to the second resource thrift store, the one that we were meant to go, and we'll see what we can find there. We made it. Resource thrift store number 2. We found it. I'm trying to be quieter because people like to shop quietly. So I'm gonna take a look. All right, so that was a huge win. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So, found two things in there. I found a really old, it looks like 1996. I was 6 years old. 1996, some game called Namesake. I know that's backwards, but it's some game about matching up categories based on letters. So like name 6 things from these categories that all start with G. It kind of seems like an early version of a categories or something like that. The point is, this was $2.50. The game is complete. I have no intention on really playing it, to be honest. But the reason why I picked it up was because I looked on the back and I looked what came with it. And this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you have to raid games for parts. Now, right now, one of my original games, my designs, called Draft Fighters, which you can find, there's a YouTube playlist on my channel for Draft Fighters. And it's also on my Instagram. That's my martial arts card drafting minis combat game. It's been done for a long time, but the only thing that I don't have is a 30-second sand timer. And I know that I can just order them online. The problem is when I look online at like Walmart or Amazon, they're like $6-7. Not really a big deal, but when you're trying to save money, $6-7, or they make you buy packages of sand timers that come with like all the way up from like 10 seconds to like 2 minutes. And I don't want all that stuff. So I opened up this box, had a sand timer. It's black, also the color that I wanted. I flipped it over, timed it exactly 30 seconds. So I just completed my Draft Fighters game without having to actually order a sand timer or go to some expensive place like a bookstore or something that would sell them for like $3 or $4, sometimes more. I just bought this $3 game, which in hindsight, I know I could probably order it for $3 or $4. But the point is, I got this game for, no, sorry, it was $2.50. Got my 30-second timer, came with a die, could always use more of those, and a bunch of random little wooden colored tokens, which, again, these are just supposed to be the player pieces, and stuff like this is great for prototyping and playtesting. You know, you have colored little colored discs. These could represent anything in a game. They could be your player pieces, and that's it. So also it came with like some cardboard inserts, and obviously the game itself is here with all its cards, which I don't really care about, although my father would probably like to play something like this. But yeah, there's a couple of cardboard inserts, which are great because I can also break those up for playtesting cards, and they're blank. So that's a score for me. $2.50. I got myself some random prototyping play pieces. I've managed to find the piece to complete my other game, and now I don't have to order one online. And I have a few things that I could probably use for crafting materials for $2.50. And my other big win, which is awesome, if you go to my Instagram, actually, you'll see that I have made a post about these things. I have been obsessed for a long time with Rory's story cubes, and I found the mini expansion piece, which is Clues, Enchanted, and Prehistoria. All 3 of them are in here. They're all in here in their little containers. Each container has 3 dice, and these are in perfect condition. I love these things. I love story cubes. I use them for so many different things, and this was randomly just sitting in a bucket of like playing cards, and like flashcards and children's like learning cards, like multiplication cards and cue cards and all that. These were sitting in there. These were $3. So for a whopping $5.50, I have found a few playtesting prototyping pieces. I found one piece, the one piece that my game was missing to be entirely complete, and I found 3 more mini sets of story cubes to go along with all the other story cubes that I have, and I spent $5.50. And then I bought a coffee. So this is good. This is exactly the kind of thing that I'm looking for when I go thrifting. So the fact that I happen to have a score like this when I'm making this episode is awesome, because now you can see how easy it is to find parts, to find pieces, to find things for other designs that you have, and not break the bank. So we're coming away with some good stuff. This is a good day. This is a very, very good day so far. We're gonna go home, we're gonna unpack all this stuff, take a look at it, and I think then we'll call it a day. All right, so we made it. We're back home. We're going to just unbox these few things that I found and take the pieces, take the parts, and take a look at what we can use and what we're going to toss. And that's pretty much it. So the first thing was these story cubes. The box is obviously a little bit ratty, but not that it really matters when you find it in a school teaching supply market bin for $3. So the thing is, story cubes, if you don't know what they are, they're kind of a game, they're kind of not a game. You just sort of sit down with some friends, you mix and match as many as you want. You can use paper, you can do without paper, and you just roll the cubes, look at the pictures, you make up a story. One person starts it off, then one person does the next part. There's lots of word story-based games like that are out there. So if you haven't checked out Rory's Story Cubes, or maybe you just want something to pass the time real quick, I would suggest checking these out because they're pretty awesome. Prehistoria, Enchanted, and Clues. 3 little mini expansions for $3. And now the next thing, which was awesome, was this namesake game, which, I mean, it comes with a board. Now, actually, pro tip, like I'm a pro, one day. Sometimes these games that are clearly really old, because look at this, 1996. Not really old, but a little dated. One of the components you can take from a game you've thrifted is the board itself, because if you are not wanting to order a board from, say, something like GameCraft or whatever, but you want to make one, I mean, this is a four-fold board. I don't know, can't remember the correct term for that, but you know, it's conceivable that you could go to like a library and find the dimensions of this board and print up an image like in 4s and just glue it over top, or just glue or tape some like blank white paper down and then go to town and draw on it. If you don't care about the game, then the board itself can be a useful item. This is the game itself. These are the, not really trivia questions, but it's like I said, it's like an early categories is how it totally comes off. And then this is what I was talking about in the car, right? It's just the box insert. But stuff like this is great. Like it's even has like the dotted edging. So this tears away really easy, and I could take this and just use it, cut it up for like cardstock, even this thing itself. Actually, I can even use it in one of my own board games if I actually do need like a box divider or like something to elevate or whatever. So definitely not going to get rid of this because this is a useful item for crafting or just filling your own box. So I'll definitely put that in the drawer. Okay, and then the 2 most important parts were just my random playtest parts, and obviously you could always use more of these. A white 6-sided die to go along with the other 3,700 white-sided 6-sided dice that I have. But these guys are pretty cool, and they are literally just painted solid black chunk circular tokens. Lost one. So really good. Can use them for all sorts of things for playtesting. Also another bag, which is good. And then the most important part to the game, the reason I bought it was the sand timer. So 30-second sand timer in black, just like I wanted. Be super sharp. It's perfect for the game. It's exactly what I needed. And now my game is done. All right, so I'm gonna box up a lot of these pieces into my board game crafting shelf drawer and get some of these components in with all my other divider component containers. And then I'm going to get to work on making some stuff flow and making some stuff finalized for my Draft Fighters game, and that is it. So thanks for coming along with me. Thursday Thrifting was a success. Definitely a success. I found something to complete a game. I found some cool extra components. I found some stuff for crafting, and I spent a total of $5.50. And like I said, the Thursday was worth the story cubes alone because these things are bomb. They're awesome. Shout out to Roy's Story Cubes again because they have helped me a ton and they look awesome. And I just genuinely like fun, sort of cute, engaging stuff like this, especially when it comes to creation, to being creative, to being artistic. It's awesome. So, successful day. I guess we'll have to decide what next week's episode is going to be. Maybe it'll be about boxing your board games, your home board games, and where to look and what to find. Maybe it'll be about something completely different. I don't know. We have yet to decide. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys joining me. Don't forget to check out my Instagram. Follow me along on there. And yeah, we'll see you next week.